All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're talking all about mindfulness and how it can, help us live happier lives.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We're using a source today that's actually written like a back and forth conversation, like a podcast discussion almost.
Yeah, that's a kind of a fun, different take on it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
It makes it, I don't know, just a little bit more relatable and accessible, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes mindfulness can feel kind of heady, you know,
Yeah, it can.
and this helps to break it down. So let's start with how our source defines mindfulness.
Okay.
It says that mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment without judgment.
Right.
What do you think is the most important part of that definition?
Well, I think it's interesting because they both kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Like to be fully present, you
Yeah.
kind of have to let go of that judgment.
Yeah.
I think the judgment piece is really important because it's so easy to get caught up in labeling things as good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant.
Yeah.
And mindfulness is more about just kind of taking a step back
Right.
and observing things as they are.
Without that filter.
Yeah, without the filter.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's not about, ignoring our thoughts or feelings or anything like that.
Right.
It's just about noticing them without.
Noticing them
Yeah.
being swept away by them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then, the source goes on to talk about, the benefits of mindfulness. And one of the biggest ones is reducing stress.
Of course.
So how do you think that works?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were talking about how it's about being present, right?
Yeah.
Because when we stress, we're usually either
Yeah.
reliving something that's already happened
Mm-hmm.
or worrying about something that might happen in the future.
Yeah, always.
So mindfulness is really about bringing us back to the here and now,
Mm-hmm.
which is the only thing that we can actually control. And there are some very specific, techniques and practices that can kind of help with that physiological response to stress.
Like what?
So, something as simple as focusing on your breath, really paying attention to the inhales and the exhales
Oh, yeah.
can actually calm your nervous system,
Interesting.
help to reduce those feelings of being overwhelmed.
So it's like you have a superpower.
Yeah.
You can just breathe and feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. All right, so another benefit that the source mentions is increased joy in simple moments.
Yes.
How does mindfulness do that?
It's really about bringing that same kind of presence
Yeah.
that we were just talking about to everyday activities. So, the source gives a really great example of just savoring a cup of coffee.
Oh.
Instead of just kind of like, chugging it down on your way out the door,
Yeah.
really take a moment to smell the aroma,
Mm-hmm.
feel the warmth of the mug in your hands, and really pay attention to the taste as you're drinking it.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. So it's like almost like you're waking up your senses a little bit.
Absolutely.
You're really experiencing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can also extend to our relationships as well.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so mindfulness can really help us to improve our connection with others.
Yeah.
Imagine having a conversation with someone where you are truly listening to them, not just waiting for your turn to speak,
Right.
but actually absorbing what they're saying, paying attention to their body language, their tone of voice,
Sure.
really being present with them.
Yeah.
And that creates a much deeper connection,
I like
a
that.
sense of understanding that can strengthen those bonds.
Yes, like you're saying, I'm here with you,
Yeah,
and I see you and I hear you,
exactly.
which is so powerful. Okay, so the last benefit that our source highlights is boosted self-awareness.
Hmm.
So how does it all tie into this?
Well, by cultivating mindfulness, we become more aware of our own thoughts and feelings and sensations in our bodies.
Mhm.
And that self-awareness allows us to make more conscious choices rather than just reacting automatically to things.
I see.
So, for example, if you're feeling stressed,
Yeah.
instead of, immediately reaching for your phone or that bag of chips,
Right.
you might notice that, your shoulders are tense and you might decide to take a few deep breaths instead.
Yeah.
It's about becoming the observer of your
Yeah.
own internal world, which gives you more control over your actions.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so the source also gives this great example of bringing mindfulness into mealtime.
Yes,
Can you walk us through that?
absolutely. So, first of all, imagine putting your phone away, turning off the TV,
Oh, okay.
really just focusing on the experience of eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, notice the colors and textures of the food on your plate.
Yeah.
Take a moment to smell the aromas. Take a bite and savor the flavors. really pay attention to the sensations in your mouth.
Wow.
It's about engaging all of your senses and appreciating the nourishment that you're receiving.
That's beautiful. And I love how, that's just one example, but really you could apply this to anything.
Anything.
Like driving to work or taking a shower or
Right.
even folding laundry,
Yeah, exactly. Mindfulness isn't just about, sitting on a cushion and meditating for an hour.
Yeah,
It's a way of being that we can cultivate throughout our day.
I love that. So as we're wrapping up here today, I think the big takeaway is that mindfulness is, more than just a buzzword. It's a practical tool
Absolutely.
that can help us transform these ordinary moments into opportunities for greater happiness and connection and self-awareness.
It really is about waking up to the richness of our lives right here, right now.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
So as you go about your day, I want you to think about, where you could practice being a little bit more present. What's one simple act that you can infuse with mindfulness? And until next time, keep diving deep and keep those mindful moments flowing.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
See you out here.